Hickok 45, Glock 47 versus Glock 17, like this one right here. Yeah, it's hot. Let's lay it down and grab a Glock 47, put it in the holster. All right, let's see if it shoots. I think it does. Yes, we're going to look at the Glock 47 that's relatively new, right? And otherwise known as a Glock 17, like this firearm. Yep, it's kind of a Glock 17, but it's really not. And you might have seen our video on the Glock 47. So we thought we'd just do a fairly quick little, if I could do anything quickly, but just comparison, talk about some of the things just exclusively related to the 47 and the 17. Even though this is a Gen 4 and that's a Gen 5, I guess, the 47, whatever. Not exactly apples to apples, but enough for our conversation here. So, and then mainly, again, since we have the 47 before so yeah, there we go. Glock 17, Glock 47, they're kind of the same firearm, right? Same length. The dimensions are the same, essentially, barrel length, slide length, and all that kind of thing. It's the larger Glock. The Glock 17 was the first Glock that came out. And then there have been a lot of different variations, shorter, smaller 9mm Glocks, even a bigger one, 17L, and the Glock 34, which I have one of those. So, what is the difference? There's a lot of jokes about how they're the same firearm, and Glock just reissued the same firearm, and it kind of did, but there's a difference, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Of course, in between these two, just from a pure shooting standpoint, I'm not sure I can tell a lot of difference. Let's take just a couple of shots, recoil wise and everything. Let me just think about it. Okay, registered the feel of that one. Obviously, recoil wise, they feel the same. These essentially the same spring and everything, recoil spring. This one feels a little better because I've got it kind of wrapped up in some Talon grip tape on it, right? Talon grips, I love them. And it feels a little better. I built it up to where it fits my hand a little better than this one. But they're essentially the same feel. You're going to have the same recoil. You're going to be able to hit the same targets, right, with both of these firearms. So essentially they are the same. Glock 17, Glock 47. Now, again, to reiterate some of what I talked about in the video on this firearm, the 47, one of the biggest differences is really, in terms of comparing these two, this is not a big shooting comparison really between 17 and 47. Okay, let's shoot long range, short range, different ammo. It's really not as much that when I say let's compare them, a little versus activity here, as it is just I don't know, throwing out the actual differences, give you a little knowledge, what little I have. And the big difference really is if I have, I think it's one of the biggest differences really. They're going to be the same as far as shooting really. This is a Gen 4, Glock 19, for example. Okay, so those are Gen 4 guns. And the Glock 47 is the same as a Gen 5. It has all the Gen 5 features, and this is a Gen 5 Glock 19. So the biggest difference, again, is the modularity, really. That's what you get, okay? And, whenever you do a versus, hopefully it helps people maybe make a decision if they're thinking of buying, one of these firearms or one of these pairs of firearms. The big difference here with the new ones, the 47 and the Gen 5s, which these are both really Gen 5, is I can take this slide off the 47, okay, and the slide off of this Gen 5 Glock 19, and I can move those around however I want to. I could, I haven't done that yet, I guess, but I could put this Glock 19 slide, on this 47, frame, and I basically have a Glock 45, if you're familiar with that, the long frame with the shorter slide. Okay, that's what I end up with. If you went to the store today and said, I want a Glock 45, that's what it would be. It just wouldn't say 19 on the slide, would it? It would say Glock 45, but that's the exact thing you'd have. All the same, everything. Spring, I guess. Not, I mean, you may have a MOS up here in different sites or something, but essentially the same gun. Okay, so you can move that around. You can have a long frame, the 17 round flush fit frame, and then have the Glock 19 slide on it. Because they made the frame dust cover shorter. You got a longer dust cover on the old Glock 17. I'll lay this up here right there, and you can see again. See now obviously the slides are different, but you've got two frames that are the same. Okay, supposed to be. They're both the same as a Glock 17 basically. All right, but the 47 is a little longer. Or I'm sorry, it's a little shorter. So on top, it's a little shorter. And the locking block and the locking block on the 19 are match up and everything. And that's what they did so that you could switch the slides back and forth. I can also do this. I guess I've done it. I don't know who would. I'm not sure what's more desirable to a lot of people. But pull the trigger. Putting the long slide on the Glock 19 or the vice versa. So the 47 slide, this is the 19, okay, frame. So if I want a Glock 19 frame, with a long slide, I can do that too. And, actually, it's easier to conceal a shorter slide, depending on how I'm going to carry it, inside the waistband or whatever the deal is. And that's, in the past, has been really appealing to a lot of people, getting a shorter slide on a pistol or shorter frame grip. But I don't know, it seems like these days people have gotten so enamored with Glock 43X, the Glock 19X, or the Glock 45 that I don't know, a lot of people just really are enjoying full-size frame with a shorter slide, aren't we? And I was surprised too. With that Glock 43X and the 19X we've shot, the 45 Glock 45, which is 9mm, of course, has the shorter slide. There is something about it that's hard to qualify. It's just really, really nice. I kind of like that too, though. Let's just face it, we all like firearms, or you wouldn't be watching this, so I wouldn't be making this, right? So that's the big difference there, really, between the Glock 47 and the Glock 17. That modularity. And the reason for that is you've got the same locking block in here and some things that enable you to do that, whereas you don't with this pair of Gen 4s. Okay, I cannot take, so there's no need me taking them off and going through it. We did that, I think, in the first video, but I cannot put this slide, the Glock 19 slide, on the Glock 17 or vice versa. They just don't interchange. Okay, they actually have a different locking block in the guns, and I'm not sure I could have even told you that years ago. I've had both of these firearms forever, 17s and 19s, but you don't have that modularity. That's hence the reason, one of the reasons that the Glock came up with the 47. You can take the 40, now again, this may not mean a lot to you. It might be like whoop-de-doo, for a lot of people, I suppose. But you can take the Glock 47 and turn it into a Glock 45, easily. You can do what I just showed you there. You take the slide off of a 19X and put it on there, of course, slide off of a 45. So, if you own both of these, you would basically have a Glock 45 and a Glock 47 when you Glock 17 and that sort of thing. And as I pointed out in the Glock 47 video, that might be appealing to someone who is just now getting these guns. Now, if you've got a safe full of Glocks, you've got a bunch of them like I do, okay, it's just not that necessary or attractive. Maybe you have a 19X, maybe you have a Glock 45 already, maybe you've got a 17, and even if they're different generations, it's not that big a deal. Maybe you can't move the slides around. Who needs to necessarily? So that, I think, is part of the reason that you see a lot of comments online about the Glock 47 being totally unnecessary and just an opportunity to offer something else to sell or a marketing thing. But it was I don't know if it was designed for them upon their request, or I guess it was partially. Their working Glock was with the Customs and Border Patrol agencies, and that's what they wanted. So it's to meet their, I guess, specifications. They wanted this modularity, which a lot of agencies, would necessarily probably, so they can keep it simpler, because both of these use the same recoil spring. And locking block, as I say, if you're going to replace piece parts. And so just for simplicity's sake, because some agents would be assigned the Glock 45, others the Glock 47, and that kind of thing. So let's put it back together. And so if that tells you anything, probably doesn't, but that's kind of the big difference there. I can't tell a lot of difference in the way they shoot. I think, unless I'm just not thinking about some things I should be thinking about, which I'm sure is the case, if you're already into Glocks, you've got Glock 17s and different Glocks, and I don't see a big reason to switch or to trade into the 47. All right, I just don't see that. I mean, I don't guess I'll get one. I don't know. But yet, if you don't have Glocks and you have a yen for one, you would like to have a Glock 17, it makes sense to me, and this might be a tip that's worthwhile. I would buy the 47 before I'd buy a Gen 5 Glock 17. Tomorrow, if I was going shopping for a Glock 17 and I wanted the Gen 5 features, I don't know why I would buy a 17. I would just buy this, I guess, because then if I added a Glock 19 later or different models, you'd have that modularity. All right, unless there's something I'm not thinking about, like I said. And that's probably my condition every day. Always something I'm not thinking about. So since we have it dirty, let's just take a couple, we'll shoot them both. We'll shoot a whole mag at least in both of these, okay? Just to verify there's nothing that I'm missing here. Let's see, we'll shoot the regular old boring Gen 4 17 first. How's that? Just have a little window there to miss that bowling pin in that 2-liter. Let's try the Glock, or the gong. Hey, these are nice guns, aren't they? I might buy a Glock someday. Pretty nice guns. I think they might be successful. Oh, I keep jacking around out, don't I? All right. By the way, I got one of the Alabama holsters on the outside the waistband. I'm always showing you the pocket holsters because I have a lot of those. But I kind of like that outside the waistband holster as well. And we really appreciate their support. They really specialize in making high quality concealment holsters, even though this one is not concealed right now, right? All right. Okay, cowboy, I can barely see your body. I'm going to try to pick off your shoulder without hitting that hostage. Oh, I got him. Sorry, hostage. Shouldn't have been in their way. You shouldn't have been standing there anyway. Let's see if this one will pop the gong. There we go. They both are good shooters. Like I said, this one feels a little better to me because it fills my hand up a little more. I've wrapped enough Talon grip around it. It just fits better. And I'm shooting mostly 124 grain ammo. That's about all I got to say. Okay, that wasn't a lot of education for you, but in case you didn't realize why the Glock 47, how it came about, the one they made before the Customs and Border Patrol, I don't think it was called the Glock 47, or was it? I'm not sure, but this is the commercial. This wasn't available commercially to people like you and I, normal people, to people like you and me initially, but it has now for what, a year or two. So it's that gun, whatever they called it, for the Customs and Border Patrol. And so anyway, that's how that came about, and it is very modular. And if that's important to you, then you might want one of these. I don't know. it's hard for me to relate to, because I've had Glocks and 19s and 17s and everything for so many years. I don't need to switch the slides back and forth and that kind of thing. Now, that's not to say that one thing I don't have is a 19X or a Glock 45, you know, which is this grip with a shorter slide. I don't have that, and I kind of like that. Do I need one? I don't know. If I decide I do, then since I have a Gen 5 Glock 19, then it would be smart for me to buy the 47, wouldn't it? And I could do that. I guess, let me think. Am I thinking right again? If I wanted a Glock 45, you know, and I have thought about it, you know, the long grip, short slide. If I wanted one, should I just buy a Glock 45, or should I buy a Glock 47? I guess I should buy a Glock 47, right? To have that modularity. Yeah, because that way I would have the option with this grip of having the longer slide on it, a 17 or the 19 slide on it. Whereas if I just bought a Glock 45, I would not have the long slide that would fit on it, right? Am I thinking right? Yeah. Okay, I gotta quit thinking while the camera is running. That's dangerous. So anyway, just some differences there between the two, and yeah, either one will serve you very well. You would not be making a big mistake with either one, unless you're a Glock hater. You wouldn't want to buy either one, right? So I'm glad you came around to hear me ramble a little bit about the Glock 17, the Glock 47, and I'll probably see you again. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com, and also while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.